y'all. Well, today I'm going to be talking about zone of awareness, which is already making this video extremely different because, well, I'm having to really be my zone of awareness. And some of you might have just been yours. And so, what is the zone of awareness? Well, this is something the founder of Access Consciousness, Gary Douglas, discovered and sort of started playing with when he was following a herd of wild horses in Joshua Tree National Forest in California. And there's construction going on outside, so I hope you can't hear it, and I hope it's not too loud. But when working with horses, as we do in Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider, one of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing, it's the biggest thing. The biggest thing is acknowledging this zone of awareness that all animals have, all people have, and maybe even more things have, but we can talk about that another time. And so with horses, a stallion, like a lead stallion in a wild herd of horses, is going to typically be the one with the largest zone of awareness. Essentially, the leaders of the herd are the ones with the largest zones of awareness. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean whoever's in front of the herd or whoever is in the back, because stallions typically lead from the back, and leading mares lead from the front. So if you want more information on that, come to a Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider class. But today we're just going to stick to the zone of awareness, which it's like to really begin to discover how this works. I'll describe it with horses. And so what Gary noticed when he was, and you'll notice this too if you're ever out with a herd of horses, whether they're wild or not, the domesticated ones can still do this, and they do. But their zones tend to be a little bit smaller sometimes because they either stay in stalls or they just aren't required because they're not being chased by, coyotes and wolves and bears, oh my, the whole time. So what he noticed, if you ever see it, maybe you'll see it somewhere, is there will be like one horse with their head high in a herd, and then all the others can have their heads down eating. And the one that has their head held high has got their zone out, and he or she is looking out in the wild yonder to see if there's any predators coming. Now, what Gary noticed was if one of their horses noticed him where he was, because he always stayed downwind. Like if you've ever talked to a hunter, or if you are a hunter, you know that you got to stay downwind because they can smell you, and the moment they smell you, they're like, we're gonna run away. So you stay downwind so they can't smell you. That means the wind is going this way, and they're over here, and you're over here. And then, so see, they can't smell you. And so if they saw him, if one horse saw him, all the other horses would raise their heads from eating grass at the exact same moment. Now, how do they do that? Zone of awareness. When your zone of awareness is expanded out and another horse's zone of awareness is expanded out, you can both be aware of the same things at the same time. Now, when you're riding your horse, if you're a horseback rider, you have got to have your zone bigger than a horse's. Now, this is true for an adult. Like, horses are also brilliant. If they see a child, there are a lot of horses that are like, okay, I know that this is a small being it might even have a really big zone of awareness, but it can't really handle itself, so I'm going to take care of it. And so those are these really kind horses that just know how to mold to whoever's riding them. Now, if you're having issues with riding your horse, you might want to, or walking your dog or anything, you might want to look at your zone of awareness. Is your zone of awareness collapsed? Which it collapses when you start thinking, like a lot. Or is it expanded? And so in order to expand your zone, you can just ask. So all of you right now, and actually most of you did it, like at the beginning of this video when I was like, I need to be more of my zone, and I chose it, and a lot of you chose it too. How do I know? How can you possibly know what I chose? Like, you pre-recorded this video. Well, come to a foundation class and you might find out. Haha. So, or a 3-day body class, but you have to do foundation first, so whatever. Or bars class, or a conscious horse, conscious rider class. And you might discover some crazy wild possibilities that you've always known were possible, but you were pretty sure only existed in your dreams and on video games and stuff, and movies and books. Yeah, maybe comic books too. So it's like this horse is going to, like if you're riding a horse, you own a horse, your horse expects you to be the leader. You're on top. You're the leader. You are now the leader. Just like if you were in a field of people and they were all walking and you were on the horse, who would be the leader? The person on the horse. Oh man, I should probably listen to the guy on the horse. So you're on top of the horse. They should, I think. You're on top of this horse. It's expecting you. It actually expects that you are the superior being. It's like, what do you want? Now, if you collapse your zone, it is aware of the fact that your zone is collapsed. Like, so I'm just going to use this. This isn't totally how it might work. I don't mean to get you to think about it, but if your zone is here and the horse's zone is out here, the horse is going to start, like, they kind of think that they're wrong and they feel like they might be missing something because, and they're just aware that the two of you are not really working together because they can sense things going on inside their zone that you're not aware of because your zone is not big enough. So you have to expand your zone out to be bigger than their zone so you're aware of everything that goes on in your zone and their zone, and then they relax and they're more calm and they are much easier to work with. So this also works with dogs. Not as easy to work with per se. There's a lot of other tools, and you might want to check out Talk to the Animals if you want more stuff on dogs. I'm kind of a horse guy and a cat person-ish. And so, yeah. And so this is going to start to, like, this awareness alone can begin to start to, create more with your horses and any of your animals. So first place you go to if you would like to create more possibilities with your horse or with any of your animals or even the people in your life and your children, you can ask, how big is my zone right now? Is it tiny or is it big? And do I need it to be bigger than where I'm at? And a lot of you that do have kids, you already do this with your kids. You make your zone of awareness big enough to where your child is inside your zone. Because the second your child gets outside of your zone of awareness, if it's like a spatial thing, then you're like, where did they go? Oh my God, I can't. Ah. Or like they're inside the house and they do something weird and you're like, I can sense them. What are they doing over there? They're getting into trouble. They're like eating sugar and they're not supposed to right now or something, or watching porn. So this is something you may already have, you may already do, but what we're going to do here in this video is acknowledge the zone of awareness, acknowledge it as an ability and a capacity that we all have, and then start to play with it more and see what we can do with it. Because one of the other things we discovered with Access Consciousness is that anything that you would like to expand has an easier time expanding when you acknowledge how much you're already doing it, if you have been, and most likely you have. So everything that doesn't allow you all to acknowledge your zone of awareness and be your zone of awareness, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Now that's the Access Consciousness clearing statement. If you would like more information on that, please go to theclearingstatement.com. And if you want some more information on the zone and any animal tools, we don't have a book for horses specifically just yet, but we do have a book called Talk to the Animals written by Susie Godsey and Gary Douglas, so you can check that out. And you can always come to a Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider intro or 2.5 day or 2 day or 1 day or whatever you'd like. So come check out the Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider classes or anything Access Consciousness to find out more. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Hope to see you all somewhere riding off in the yonder to the great blue horizon. Bye.